and welcome to another brand new episode of All About Cars, where we will be answering all your questions regarding automobiles. But before we go ahead, make sure you like, share and subscribe to the CarWale channel so you never miss an update. We move on to the questions now and we start with our Instagram questions. Jay Sony wants to know, he's interested in purchasing a Hyundai Venue DCT, but he's afraid of the heating issues of the gearbox. He wants to know if there's really a heating issue, and also he wants to know the real world mileage of the Venue DCT on the highways and in the city. Jay, we don't think there's any real heating issue when it comes to the DCT gearbox of Hyundais. The only thing is, if you're in very congested traffic conditions, we recommend you putting the gearbox into neutral and not keep it in drive, because the more you keep it in drive in a stationary vehicle, there's more stress on the gearbox, and that thereby leads to heating. So there's no issue if you use it the right way. So any congested traffic or very congested traffic areas, we suggest you put into neutral and then put into drive as you move along, and we think there shouldn't be any issue then. As far as fuel efficiency is concerned, we think you'll get anywhere between 12 to 14 kilometers per liter on the highways and between 8 to 12 kilometers in the city. We hope that helps you make your decision. Our next question comes from Kushal Palan, and he says that he's looking for a mid-size SUV for 15 lakhs, and he wants the latest features like panoramic sunroof, touchscreen infotainment system and more. Kushal, unfortunately for 15 lakhs, there isn't a vehicle that will offer you a panoramic sunroof. You can get the Hyundai Creta, but you'll have to increase your budget by at least about 2 to 2.5 lakhs. But what we suggest is you move down a segment from mid-size to compact SUVs, and you'll have you can choose between the Tata Nexon, the Hyundai Venue or the Kia Sonet. All these three vehicles have sunroofs, touchscreen infotainment system, amongst a whole lot of other features. But if you're looking at a panoramic sunroof at 15 lakhs, we don't think there's a choice available. But like I said, you can go down a segment, those cars, the compact SUVs between these three, choose any of the three you like, because they're loaded with features and they're good on performance as well. We now move on to our Facebook questions. Ashi here wants to know details about the new upcoming Renault Kiger. Ashi, the Renault Kiger will be Renault's competitor in the compact SUV segment. From what we see, it's going to boast a very impressive design. At least from the concept, it looks fantastic. It will also boast a 1-liter turbocharged engine, which you also see in the Magnite. There might be a few differences when it comes to tune, but by and large, you'll get the same 1-liter turbocharged engine. You'll also get an option of manual and an automatic gearbox, so we know that now. You'll also get a whole list of features, which will include a touchscreen infotainment system and a whole lot more. Now, the car's all set to be unveiled on the 20th of January. So stay tuned to CarWale. We'll be putting up a whole lot of information about the car, and hopefully you get all the information you need. Our next question comes from Aniruddha, and he wants to know which is the best compact SUV with good mileage, diesel engine, safety and features. Aniruddha, when it comes to the compact SUV segment, you have a whole range of options to choose from. So you can choose between the Hyundai Venue, you can choose either the Tata Nexon or the Kia Sonet. Now all these three cars have very good diesel engines. They come loaded with features and they're very good on performance and fuel efficiency as well. We suggest you try all these three cars and make up your mind. Our next question comes from Tanmay, and he's looking to buy the Hyundai Creta, but he's confused between the IVT or the DCT gearbox. He wants to know which option he should go for and what are the pros and cons of both. Tanmay, as you mentioned, the IVT is basically the CVT gearbox, whereas the DCT is the twin clutch gearbox. Now, if you're looking to use the Creta mostly in city conditions, not too much on the highways, and you do not like to drive enthusiastically, we suggest you go for the IVT. It's the more smoother gearbox between the two. Now, if you like to drive and if you prefer driving enthusiastically, we suggest you look at the DCT gearbox. It's a lot more involving to drive. It's also quicker to shift. You also get slightly better acceleration when it comes to the DCT gearbox, and you can also expect marginally better fuel efficiency. So between both of these two, if you're looking at a family car, you can look at the IVT gearbox. But if you like to drive and you're looking at the Creta as an enthusiastic choice as well, you can look at the DCT gearbox. Our next question comes from Mayur, and he wants to know if the Altroz XZ is a better option as a family car, and his budget is under 10 lakh rupees. Mayur, the Altroz makes for a very good family car. It's got loads of space, it's pretty wide as well, so seating 5 people shouldn't be an issue at all. It's got all the features as well, and now you've got the turbo variant of the Altroz as well. So we suggest you wait a little while, because the prices for the turbo variant should be out very soon, and with that engine the Altroz makes for a very good choice. Our next question comes from Vignesh, and he says that he already has a Ford Aspire titanium diesel variant, and he loves the ride handling and comfort, and he also appreciates the low maintenance costs, but he finds the ground clearance to be an issue. He was thinking he's thinking of switching to compact SUVs, and he's a driving enthusiast and he loves the torquey feel of the vehicles. He says he already has the EcoSport inside, but seating 3 at the rear is a bit of a squeeze, and he wants to know if there are any other suggestions. Vignesh, like you mentioned, the Ford EcoSport is a very good car to drive in the compact SUV segment, but yes, seating 3 at the rear is a little tight, but then that's the case with most compact SUVs. If you're looking at space at the rear, we suggest you look at the Tata Nexon with the diesel engine, because it's pretty spacious at the rear. You've got no issues when it comes to legroom. It's pretty wide as well, so seating 3 at the rear again is not an issue at all, and frankly it drives well as well. The handling is very neutral, it's very comfortable as well, and of course you have no issues with the ground clearance. But if you're looking at a compact SUV from a driver's perspective, we suggest you choose between the Ford EcoSport or the new upcoming Mahindra XUV300 Turbo. Now both these cars, we've driven them extensively. The XUV300 is also a very good driver's SUV, and now with the turbo engine, it makes it even more involving to drive. We suggest you wait, take a test drive and then take a call. Our next question comes from Kunal, and he's eagerly awaiting reviews of the 2021 MG Hector and the Jeep Compass Facelift. He also wants to know if any date has been finalized for the new Tata Safari. Now Kunal, both these cars, the MG Hector and the Jeep Compass, are basically just facelifts. So if you want to know how they drive, you can just check out our reviews on the YouTube channel or on the CarWale website. As for the new features, you can just head to the nearest showroom and you can check out the new features. So it's essentially the same cars with slightly different revised styling and new features, so they're essentially the same. As for the Tata Safari, the car is all set to be unveiled on 26 January. So we expect the car to be launched somewhere between mid to end of Feb. But do stay tuned to the CarWale channel for more updates on the new Tata Safari. Our next question comes from Pushkar, and he wants to know how the engine and gearbox of the Nexon 1.2 litre turbocharged petrol is. Pushkar, we've driven the Nexon 1.2 litre turbo on a racetrack, and frankly we had no issues with the engine and gearbox. It's very peppy, the gearbox feels very well. It's a little on the notchy side, but nothing really to complain about. It's the engine is very responsive, and if you're looking at a turbo petrol option in the compact SUV segment, we think the Nexon makes for a very good car. Our next question comes from Neville, and he says that he really loves Honda products, but he still doesn't understand why Honda doesn't offer an automatic gearbox with the WRV, even after the Honda Jazz and the Honda Amaze have it. He also says that all the other competitors in the compact SUV segment have automatic transmission, so why doesn't the WRV get it? Neville, like you mentioned, every compact SUV in the segment has an automatic gearbox. Now Honda, we're sure, will offer an automatic gearbox with the WRV, but we're sure they're working on probably an update of the WRV or probably an updated gearbox for the WRV. So we think they will launch it, and it should be coming out pretty soon. Our next question comes from Bharat, and he says that he's confused between the Kia Sonet DCT, the Honda City CVT, and the Mahindra XUV300 manual. Now, he wants to know which of these three has better fuel efficiency and low cost of maintenance. Well, Bharat, to answer your question, we don't know why you've chosen the automatic variants of the Honda and the Kia, but a manual version of the XUV. Now, the XUV does get an automatic gearbox, but it's an AMT. I'm guessing that is the reason why you've left it out. But between these three, when it comes to fuel efficiency, the Honda City is the lightest of the lot, so it will give the best fuel efficiency between these three. But if you're looking at a car with better ride quality and you don't have to think about potholes and the large speed breakers, you can choose between both the XUV300 or the Kia Sonet. Again, when it comes to mileage, a manual gearbox does offer slightly better fuel efficiency because you can manage it better. So again, the XUV300 might have a slight edge when it comes to the Kia Sonet DCT, but it'll be very negligible. So you can choose between either of the two. We now move on to our Twitter questions, and Sudeep Chaudhary wants to know which 5 to 7 seater car can he buy. He wants it to be feature rich, he wants excellent ride quality to isolate the cabin. It shouldn't be too big to drive within the city conditions, and he wants good mileage, a smooth automatic gearbox, and all the features like lane assist camera and more. Now Sudeep, coming to the lane assist feature first. Now that feature was only available in the Honda CR-V, and the Honda CR-V as of now is discontinued. But the rest of the parameters, we think the Toyota Innova Crista makes for an excellent choice. It's got plenty of features, it's got a very robust engine, it's got good fuel efficiency, and it's got a very good automatic gearbox as well. And the highlight of the Innova has always been its ride quality. It's just fantastic. It can absorb the worst of roads very well. So we suggest you look at the Toyota Innova, and we think it matches all your needs. Our next question comes from Guru Tyagi, and he says he wants to buy a car worth 20 lakhs ex showroom and in Delhi NCR, and he wants to know which car he should go for. He's looking for a comfortable self-driven car for his family, including his wife and 2 kids. He says that he can wait till the end of the year, so if there are any upcoming cars, we should let him know. Now Guru, at the moment, if you're looking at a car with a budget of 20 lakhs, we suggest you look at the Hyundai Creta or the Tata Harrier. Now both these cars are very comfortable, they're loaded with features, and they're very good to drive as well. But both of these are SUVs. So if you're looking at a sedan to drive, you can also take a look at the Hyundai Elantra. Again, it's got a very good engine, it's loaded with features, and it's very good to drive as well. So if you want SUVs, you can choose between the Tata Harrier or the Hyundai Creta, and if you want a sedan, you can also have a look at the the Hyundai Elantra. Our next question comes from Sudhir Kumar Sridharan, and he says that he's considering buying the new Jeep Compass, and his other alternative is the Hyundai Tucson. But he says that the feedback on service, service network, knowledge on product of service personnel, and maintenance cost of the Jeep is not too pleasing, and he wants to know if he'd be making a mistake buying the Jeep. Sudhir, we don't think there are too many issues when it comes to the Jeep Compass. It's been around for a while now, and it's been selling pretty well as well. We think if you go to the right service center, all your problems, in case you have any, should be addressed without any issues. And the Jeep Compass, especially the new one, is a very well established product. It gets all the features you want, and we've tested it extensively, so it's very good on performance as well. So we don't think there's any issue when it comes to the service of the Jeep Compass. So we think you should go ahead and check it out. Our next question comes from Neeraj, and he says that he wants a car for city and highway driving. His driving is about 50 kilometers a day. He wants a safe, fuel efficient car for 8.5 lakhs on the road. Neeraj, we would recommend the new Nissan Magnite for you. Now the Magnite gets a very potent 1-liter turbocharged engine. You also get a very good CVT transmission with the car. Of course, you can also choose a manual gearbox with the Magnite. Now, the Magnite also comes loaded with a lot of features, so we think it meets all your requirements. So we suggest you go have a look at the Nissan Magnite, or if you want to know information, you can also check out our review of the Magnite on YouTube or the CarWale channel. We now move on to our YouTube questions. Our first question comes from Trance and Metal and he says he wants to know about the new Kia Carnival and when it will come to India and will it be worth the wait. We're very impressed with the current Kia Carnival. We've driven it extensively. It drives very well. It's got a bunch of features and it makes for an excellent people carrier. And we're sure that the new car will be even better. It'll be better to drive, it'll have more features, and we expect it to have more space as well. So we definitely think it'll be worth the wait. Our next question comes from Prabir Biswas and he wants to know which is the better driver's car between the Ford EcoSport and the Hyundai Creta. Prabir, now both these cars are in a different segment. The Ford EcoSport comes in the compact segment, compact SUV segment, and the Hyundai Creta is in the mid-size SUV segment. But between both of these, the Creta is more of a family car. Its suspension is tuned softly for a more comfortable ride, and to quite an extent even the Ford EcoSport is tuned for the family, but then again it's got better steering. The ride is slightly stiffer, and it's also lighter, and it's got a more compact footprint, which makes the Ford EcoSport slightly more involving to drive as compared to the Creta. Hopefully that answers your question. Our next question comes from Neha Singh and she wants to gift a car to her mom, and it will be mostly driven in the city with an approximate monthly usage of 1000 to 1200 kilometers. She says that she's confused between the Mahindra XUV300 Petrol and the Ford EcoSport Petrol. Her budget is between 12 to 13 lakhs on road, and she wants to know which car should she go for, or is there something else she can choose. Neha, between both these cars, if you're looking at petrol options, we suggest you look at the Mahindra XUV300. In fact, you have the turbo variant coming in, which has the better engine, so you can wait and check out the XUV300 turbo as well. So between the Ford EcoSport and the Mahindra XUV300, we would suggest you have a look at the new XUV300 turbo. As far as the other options, you can also look at the Tata Nexon or the Hyundai Venue or the Kia Sonet. Now it's a very tightly placed segment and all these cars are pretty close to each other. So we suggest you have a look at all these cars, take a test drive, and then take a call on which car would be best for your mom. Our next question comes from Praveen Makwana and he wants to know if the non-turbocharged Nissan Magnite XV is a good choice or not. Now Praveen, we haven't driven the naturally aspirated version of the Magnite, but if you're looking at a car solely for city purpose and for short commutes and the very occasional highway use, we think the Magnite naturally aspirated variant shouldn't be an issue. But we would definitely recommend you to test drive both the variants and then take a call. Our next question comes from Vijay Prabhu Vijay and he wants a safe, efficient, low maintenance, value for money automatic SUV for under 12 lakhs, and his monthly running is about 1000 kilometers. Vijay, we think since you've put safety as your parameter, we suggest you look at the Tata Nexon. Now the car has received a 5-star rating when it comes to safety. It's also got a very good diesel engine to choose from, and it's got a bunch of features, so it's not lacking on any front. It's also a very comfortable car to drive. So if you're looking at a safe, fuel efficient car for a monthly running of 1000 kilometers, we would definitely recommend the Tata Nexon for you. Our next question comes from Karthik Krishnan and he wants to know which is the better choice between the Brezza VXI, the Venue S or the Sonet HTK, and which is the best car all around. He also wants to know if the Brezza has decent cooling considering it doesn't have rear aircon vents. Now Karthik, coming to your question, between these three, the best all-rounder is the Kia Sonet, and that's because it drives very well, it's got the most features of the lot, and It's also priced on par with the rest of the competition. So if you want the best all-rounder, we think the Kia Sonet makes the most sense. Now talking about the Brezza, even though it doesn't have rear aircon vents, most Maruti cars have very good aircon units, and the Brezza has one too. So we don't have any issues when it comes to cooling, even though the Brezza doesn't have rear aircon vents. Our next question comes from Sarat Sistla, and he wants to know which is the best option under 8 lakhs. He wants to know which is the better choice between the Tata Altroz or the Nissan Magnite, or can he choose something else. His priorities include a manual transmission, rear seat comfort and space, and resale value. Now Sarat, both these cars, the Tata Altroz and the Magnite, are well established products. The Tata Altroz now also comes with the new turbo engine, and it should be launched very soon. When it comes to rear space, the Tata Altroz is the better choice. It's the more spacious car between the two. Till if you don't consider the Tata Altroz Turbo, because it's yet to be launched, the Nissan Magnite as of now makes for a better choice when it comes to the engine. It's got the 1-liter turbo engine along with the manual gearbox. It's a very potent engine. It's very peppy to drive as well. Now both these cars are fully loaded when it comes to features, but we suggest you wait a bit and wait for the Tata Altroz Turbo. We think it should cover all your needs. Our next question comes from Arun. He says that he's a new driver. He wants to buy a petrol car for 11 lakhs and he wants to know if he should wait for the Tata Altroz Turbo or buy the Hyundai 20 Asta. Now Arun, we haven't driven the Tata Altroz Turbo yet, but we will be driving it in a couple of days. But as of now, the Hyundai i20 makes for a very good choice. It's got a very potent engine. It's pretty powerful. It's loaded to the features, and both these cars are very easy to drive. We've driven the naturally aspirated Tata Altroz, so no issues there. But we suggest you wait a little, check out a review of the Tata Altroz Turbo, and then make a choice. That was it for this week's All About Cars. We love answering your questions, so make sure you do send in all your questions, no matter what the platform, be it Twitter, be it Instagram, be it YouTube, or you can also mail in your questions to us. Also, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the CarWale channel so that we can help you out at all times.